Hey there, I'm Brandon Del Campo.
I'm Joanna Zeiger, and we are here to teach you how to run like an Olympian. I am a recovering triathlete, and now I'm just doing some running.
And I am a triathlete that was recovering and maybe fell off the wagon a bit, and I'm back at it.
All right, so today we are going to talk about a very important topic that is, I feel, really not talked about that much, and that is the concept of proper breathing techniques while you're exercising.
Yeah, it's probably not talked about because you have to breathe in order to do anything.
Right.
And so people overlook it.
Yeah, they just think it's this innate process.
So you're saying that we can actually show people how to be more effective at something as simple as breathing.
They can improve their breathing, and by improving their breathing, it will make their exercises, that whatever they're doing, swim, bike, run, rock climbing, whatever it is that you're doing, that is going to involve increased respiration. If you do some of these things that we're going to tell you about,
all right,
you will do it better.
Perfect. Well, let's get to it. All right, so Joanna, why don't we just introduce breathing and, the concept of it?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously breathing is something we easily do.
I'm doing it right now.
And we don't even think about it until you get into the middle of a race or a hard workout, and all of a sudden you feel like you're gasping for air.
Right.
And there are things that we can do to help you slow that breathing down, to make your breathing stronger, because breathing, you know, we all talk about the ribs and the lungs, but the diaphragm is the primary muscle for breathing. And like any other muscle in the body, the diaphragm can be trained to get stronger.
So you're saying that when you're doing a hard workout or something that involves a lot of respiration, there are techniques that we can use to actually make you get through that harder period in a more efficient way.
That's exactly right.
All right.
So the first thing I want you guys to do is just stand with your arms at your side and just breathe normally. So we're just breathing normally, and look at yourself in the mirror so you can see what you're doing. And then after you've taken a few normal breaths, take a really deep breath. When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you notice? Do you notice that you're breathing like this with your shoulders coming up? Or do you notice that when you take a deep breath that your stomach is actually expanding? And then when you breathe out, then your stomach comes back in. Now, if your shoulders are coming up and you're getting this deep breath from your chest, that is very inefficient breathing. You're not getting the most out of your breath. And so if you think that you're just standing here and you're doing inefficient breathing and you're breathing from your chest, think about when you're running really hard and you see people with their shoulders in their ears. That's because that's how they're breathing. They're breathing with their shoulders. They're taking very shallow breaths from the chest, and they've lost all of this incredible momentum coming from deep breaths.
I'm laughing because I've seen you look like that before in a race.
You know,
she's learned from experience.
I have learned from experience, and I've seen it. And you know, I just did a race the other day, and the person I was running with, when he got tired, I could hear him taking these really shallow breaths. Yep. And I kept giving him the cue, take a deep breath, and he would slow his breathing down, and he sounded much better. I
think some of it too is in, you know, day-to-day life, we're so used to. We suck our stomachs in. I mean, let's face it, people. We don't want the whatever's going on here sticking out. And so I think we're actually throughout the day kind of training ourselves to breathe in the upper quadrant, too shallow of our lungs. So you're gonna have to
really breathe. You want to breathe through your belly. So you know, if any of you do yoga, they always talk about that deep belly breathing.
Right.
That's how you want to perform your breathing when you're exercising. You want to take a deep breath from here, so that your stomach actually expands when you breathe in. And it contracts when you breathe out.
And you'll find you relax the shoulders.
And you relax the shoulders. The shoulders should be here, not up here. All right, so I've given you some hints about some of the things that may make your breathing better, but it's really not that easy to change something that you've been doing for a long time.
This is true.
So we've got some exercises.
Okay.
And they're gonna be progressive. The first ones will be a little bit easier, and they'll get progressively harder to kind of cue you into helping you breathe better and to just make you more aware of breathing deeper.
I think people are going to be interested how a breathing exercise can be hard, unless you're going to have us hold our breath, but let's find out.
Well, you know, that is actually a good point, because people will find that if you're a very shallow breather, you can't hold your breath more than 10 seconds.
Right.
And you really should be able to hold your breath about 45 seconds.
Right.
So that's actually a good point right there.
Contest at the end. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Whoever passes out first wins. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna lie down on this mat with our knees up, our head back. And what you're gonna do is first you're gonna place your hands on your stomach, and you just wanna breathe deeply in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you breathe in through the nose, you should actually feel your stomach rise up underneath your hands. When you breathe out, you should feel your stomach drop. And you want to do that for about 30 seconds. And then what you want to do is put your hands between your last rib and the top of your hip. And you want to breathe in deeply, and you should actually feel that your fingers are being pushed out. So not only do you want your stomach to rise up this way, you want it to rise out that way. And so if you can get the stomach to rise up in both directions, that means you're getting a very deep breath.
My stomach rises up more than it used to.
Well, you know, that muffin top gets in the way a little bit. But see, Brandon over here is breathing right through his chest.
No, I'm moving out, look.
I know, but take a deep breath, and you can see his chest rising right there.
Well, that's because I fill up the bottom and then I fill up the top.
Well, don't fill up the top. Just breathe through your stomach, not through your chest, because you don't want to start a bad habit you'll take with you to your runs. All right, so most people will find that they actually are stronger on one side than the other with their breathing. No different than having one leg stronger than another when you're running. That one side of the diaphragm will often be stronger, so that when you put your hands here in the other exercise, one side will push out more than the other. So this exercise that we're gonna do is gonna help with that, because we're gonna be lying on our side and opening up, and that will help shut off the one side so that you really work the opposite side a little bit more.
Makes sense.
All right, so let's do it. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna lie on your side in a fetal position with your legs up, and you wanna bring both arms out to the side, and you wanna open up one arm. So while you're doing this, you wanna take those deep diaphragmatic breaths. And you should actually feel, so right now I'm open and my right side is up. When I take deep breaths, I can feel my right side really working. Now, some people may find they're tight and their arm is way up here. This actually will help open up the side over here, which will also help with the breathing.
It opens over time.
It does.
Mine was, when I came over, it was about here. And then as I took some breaths, it slowly starts to drop down.
So you want to hold this about a minute in each direction. And really take deep breaths. And you'll really be able to feel that side open up. All right, let's switch to the other side. And don't worry if you notice that one side is stronger than the other. The whole point of this is to try and equal things out.
Watch my arm on this one. It'll take about a minute before it whacks Joanna in the face.
See how high Brandon's hand is up here? But as he takes deep breaths, that'll start to lower. And again, you want to hold each side about a minute. Really focusing on breathing in through the stomach and not through the shoulders. Just get your arm down already, will you?
It's good. All right, so we went through a couple of exercises. What else can people do on a regular basis that's going to maybe, help them train this into their everyday habits?
Well, we're looking at this as a progression, and the things that we've done are very static, and you're not being tested at all in terms of increased respiration. So the goal is that you get very comfortable with this in these other positions, or just sitting at your desk, with the hope that when you go to run or bike or swim or whatever exercise you do, you become very comfortable with it. So this next thing we're going to show you, marching in place with the deep breathing, is sort of the next step of the progression, so that you're actually in a more dynamic position, but still trying to get the breath from the diaphragm deep down and not from the shoulders. So this might be a good one to do in front of the mirror, so you can actually look at your shoulders and see, number one, you want them level. You don't want one shoulder up. And number two, you don't want to see the shoulders rising as you're breathing.
Right.
So we're just gonna do this for about a minute. You want to stand, you want to put your hands either here or here, just to give you some kind of cue that you're actually getting the breaths from the diaphragm deep down here. And then you just want to march in place. So maybe you start a little bit slowly so that you can just get the breathing down. And then you want to pick up the speed so that your respiration gets a little bit more difficult. You still want to be able to get those breaths deeply. So don't be discouraged if you're doing this in front of the mirror and you're breathing and you find that you're actually using your shoulders, because as you practice this over time, you'll be able to take the shoulders out of the mix.
Some people are just uptight.
Well, some people are, but
It's not going to happen for everybody.
You know, our goal is to make it happen for everybody. Yeah, more from here. I'm a stickler.
Yeah.
So lift your hips off the ground as far as you can. More. There you go. And so then you want to do the same thing we've done these other exercises, where you put your hands either at the side or on your stomach, and you want to breathe in deeply. So while you're doing this, you should really feel some good glute engagement.